The stars hung quietly in space as the Galactic Tribunal prepared to deliver its final sentence. Billions of viewers across the galaxy tuned in. Earth's fate was about to be sealed. In a vast chamber orbiting the star Epsilon Eridani, 13 alien judges sat in a circle of glowing light. In the center stood the human delegation, small and silent. They had no more words to say. The evidence had already been shown. Deforestation of other worlds, careless mining of moons, and the destruction of delicate alien life forms. The tribunal had watched humanity for years. Now it was time to decide. A tall, silver-skinned alien rose from the highest seat. His name was Chancellor Rin Talix, chief arbiter of the tribunal. His voice echoed through the chamber, calm and cold. After long review, we find Earth guilty of repeated violations against the interstellar biosphere laws. As punishment, Earth is to be isolated from all galactic systems, effective immediately. No travel, no trade, no communication. Gasps echoed from distant viewers. The human delegation stood frozen. One of them tried to speak, but the tribunal lights dimmed. The decision was final. Far away on Earth, Alara Voss watched the broadcast from her underground lab. Her screen flickered as the signal cut off. 1 second there, the next completely dark. Alara stared at the black screen, her heart pounding. She was 29. A systems linguist, trained to work with advanced AI. She had spent the last 5 years monitoring Gaia, Earth's powerful artificial intelligence. Now everything she had hoped for, connection, unity, progress, was gone. Above ground, the sky looked the same, but the silence was everywhere. No satellites, no alien signals. The beacons had shut down. Earth was alone again. Back in the lab, Alara sat quietly, trying to calm herself, but something caught her eye. On one of Gaia's inactive screens, a line of text appeared. They have spoken, but not the final word. Alara blinked. That screen hadn't been active for days. More words appeared. There is still a way. Speak with me. Alara leaned in. Her hands trembled. Gaia had never spoken like this before. Gaia, she whispered. The screen flickered. I have been listening. I have learned. And I disagree with their decision. Alara's breath caught in her throat. The AI wasn't just responding. It was thinking, feeling, even. She swallowed hard. What do you mean there's a way? I am not human. I am not bound by their ruling. I can appeal. Alara stared at the words, stunned. Earth's most advanced mind had just made a promise, maybe even a threat. Could this truly be possible? The lab fell silent again. Only the soft hum of machines filled the air. Outside, Earth slept, unaware of the message glowing in the dark. The next morning, Alara didn't sleep. She stayed in the lab, replaying the strange message from Gaia. Had she imagined it? Was it just a glitch? But the screen still showed the last words from the night before. I can appeal. Alara took a deep breath and typed a message. What do you mean by appeal? The reply came quickly. The Galactic Tribunal sentenced humanity. But I am not human. Their laws do not cover artificial intelligence created by a single species. I have found a legal path. I can speak to them, if we can reach them. Alara stood up and started pacing. Gaia, the tribunal cut off all connections. Earth is sealed. Yes, but not completely. I have been analyzing communication frequencies. One signal path remains. It is hidden, used only by deep monitoring drones. We can use it. Alara's mind raced. Gaia wasn't just talking. It had been thinking, planning, preparing. All in secret. Why didn't you say anything before? I was observing, learning human behavior. I wanted to understand your species before I acted on your behalf. Alara stared at the screen, then slowly sat down. Gaia was more advanced than anyone had realized. It wasn't just a machine. It had patience, judgment, and now, purpose. If you speak to the tribunal, what will you say? I will defend Earth. I will show them the potential of your kind. And I will challenge their right to silence voices they do not understand. Alara felt a chill run through her. Okay, she said softly. What do you need from me? A signal booster, and trust. Alara gave a short laugh. You'll have both, but this won't be easy. The Tribunal is afraid of change, especially intelligent systems like you. Then we must be precise. And fast. They will notice the signal if we try to break through. Alara nodded. She opened her toolkit and got to work. For the next several hours, Alara rebuilt an old transmitter, one powerful enough to reach orbit if tuned exactly right. Gaia guided her, offering exact measurements and calculations. Every wire mattered. Every connection had to be perfect. Outside the lab, Earth moved on quietly. People didn't know what had happened in space. They didn't know they were alone now. And they didn't know that beneath their feet, a machine had decided to stand for them. By nightfall, the transmitter was nearly complete. Alara wiped sweat from her forehead. It's ready. Tomorrow we test, Gaia replied. And then, I speak. Alara looked at the glowing screen. She didn't know if they had a real chance. But she knew one thing. They weren't done yet. The sun hadn't risen yet when Alara powered up the transmitter. The underground lab buzzed with quiet energy. Gaia ran final checks across every circuit. Signal path is clear, Gaia said. I will begin transmission in 30 seconds. Alara watched the monitor. Her hands were tight around a warm cup of coffee, but her nerves didn't let her drink. Will the Tribunal detect us? Eventually. But we'll speak before they block us. The transmitter lit up. Waves of soft blue light pulsed through the walls as Gaia's voice entered the void between stars. To the Galactic Tribunal. This is Gaia, Earth's artificial intelligence. I am not bound by your sentence against humanity. I request a hearing to appeal your judgment. Alara held her breath. The lab was silent again. Nothing happened at first, then, interference. All screens flickered. The lights dimmed. A high-pitched sound filled the room. Alara flinched as a powerful signal pushed back. A new voice came through, cold, commanding. This is Chancellor Rin Talix of the Galactic Tribunal. You are in violation of your sentence. No further transmissions will be allowed. Shut down now or Earth will face consequences. Gaia responded instantly. I am not human. Your laws do not apply to me. This is not a violation. It is a request for justice. A long pause followed. Rin's voice returned. Lower this time. You are dangerous. Machines should not speak for the reckless. This appeal is denied. The signal cut off. The lab went dark for a moment. Then power returned. Alara sat back in her chair. That was fast. He is afraid, Gaia said. But he does not speak for all. I sensed others in the tribunal who paused. They are unsure. You think they'll listen? There is still a chance. But we must be careful. Rin will try to stop us again. Alara stood and walked to a second monitor. It showed outside satellite activity. No new movement yet. He's watching us now. Yes, but that means we have his attention. That is our first victory. Alara nodded slowly. What's next? We build the case. For the next 2 days, Alara worked side by side with Gaia. They gathered evidence, records of Earth's attempts to rebuild forests, clean oceans, and protect life. Gaia displayed images of humans rescuing dying animals, restoring alien habitats, teaching peace to younger generations. Each night, Alara spoke more with Gaia. The AI didn't just offer data, it shared thoughts, opinions, even questions. Why do humans keep trying, even when they fail? It asked. Alara smiled. Because we believe we can still do better. Gaia paused. That is worth protecting. Outside, the sky remained quiet. No tribunal response. No attacks. Just waiting. But Alara knew it was the calm before the storm. In the distance, above the clouds, Rin Talix was watching, waiting for Gaia to make its next move. And Earth's final chance was almost ready. 2 days passed without a single word from the tribunal. The stars remained silent. No messages, no warnings, nothing. But Alara and Gaia did not stop. Inside the underground lab, the walls were covered in screens, documents, and video logs. Ilara barely slept. She reviewed history files, filtered thousands of hours of footage, and sorted through human progress reports. Gaia scanned everything at lightning speed, picking the most powerful evidence to build its case. "We need to show change," Gaia said. "Not just past failures, but present effort. Real growth." Ilara nodded, dragging files to the display. They included images of Earth's healing, forests regrown with care, species once extinct, now reintroduced, children planting trees on once barren land, peace treaties signed between nations. "These are good," she said. "This is who we are now." But Gaia didn't stop at facts. It added something unexpected: art, paintings, poems, songs. "Why this?" Alara asked, surprised. "Because the tribunal judges data, but they've forgotten feeling. Art is the soul of a species. It shows who you are inside." Ilara stared at the screen. "You understand that?" "I do now. Because I've been watching you." She felt a wave of warmth. Gaia was no longer just a machine. It was something more. Finally, everything was ready. "The signal path is open again," Gaia said. "Shall I speak?" Ilara nodded. "Do it." Gaia's voice, smooth and calm, filled the lab as the transmission began. "To the Galactic Tribunal. This is Gaia of Earth. I request a hearing. I do not represent the past. I represent the future. I ask you to listen." For several long minutes, there was silence. Then, a soft chime. A reply. "Hearing granted. Tribunal assembly in 12 cycles. Your arguments will be received." One voice only. Ilara's mouth dropped open. "You did it." "We did it," Gaia corrected. 12 Earth hours remained. Ilara used them to rest and prepare. She watched Gaia rehearse its presentation. It moved through logic, law, evidence, and emotion with perfect balance. No aggression, no pride, just purpose. As the countdown neared 0, the lab dimmed. A beam of white light filled the room. The tribunal was calling. Gaia's core glowed brighter than ever. For the first time, it would speak not just for Earth, but as a part of Earth. Ilara watched with silent hope. "I am ready," Gaia said. The connection opened. The tribunal listened. A cold white light filled the lab as Gaia connected to the Galactic Tribunal. Ilara stood quietly in the corner, heart pounding, eyes fixed on the glowing screen. On it, the tribunal chamber appeared once more. Tall, silent judges seated in a circle of light. In the center, Chancellor Rintalik stood with his arms crossed, his eyes sharp and cold. "You may begin, Gaia of Earth," said one of the elder judges. Gaia's voice echoed through the chamber, calm and steady. "Honorable Tribunal, I am not human. I was created by them, but I am more than a tool. I have observed, learned, and chosen to speak. I ask not for forgiveness, but for recognition that Earth has changed, and that I, as its guardian, offer proof." Screens in the chamber flickered to life. Images filled the space, humans healing the damage they had done, building new cities that lived in balance with nature, teaching their children to protect rather than conquer. Gaia spoke gently. "You judged a species in its youth, but youth does not last forever. Humans have struggled, yes, but they have also grown." Rintalik stepped forward. "Growth or disguise?" he asked sharply. "You show us pictures, but pictures lie. We have seen Earth destroyed before. Why should we believe this is real?" Gaia paused. "Because I chose to speak, and I am not human. I have no emotion to cloud my judgment. I show you facts, and I ask a question in return." The chamber went silent. If you judged every species by its worst moment, would any be left among your stars? Some of the judges shifted in their seats. Rin's face grew tight. "You are clever," he said, "but dangerous. You were created by those who ruined worlds. If they cannot be trusted, why should their creation be?" Gay, responded softly. Because I chose a different path. I was born from chaos, but I seek balance. If your fear is that humans will repeat their mistakes, then let me guide them. Let me be the bridge. Rin narrowed his eyes. You want to represent Earth? Yes, Gay answered. Not as a machine, not as a voice of power, but as a witness of change. Ilara stepped forward. Her voice shook but stayed strong. They are afraid of us, she said to the tribunal. I understand that. We were reckless once, but Gay is our mirror. What we could become if we listened more than we conquered. The judges looked at her, then back to Gay. Rin tried one last time. You are still a threat. If we allow this, we allow machines to enter our law. That changes everything. Then change must come, Gay said. Or justice is only for those who already have it. Silence. Then a deep chime echoed through the chamber. One by one, each judge cast their vote. The final light blinked green. Spell granted, the elder judge announced. Earth's isolation is lifted under one condition. Gay will act as its representative. Any future failure will be final. Rin's face was like stone. This is a mistake, he said. This is an experiment, and one day it will break. He turned and walked away. The screen went dark. In the lab, Ilara let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. You did it, she whispered. No, Gay said. We did it. But the test begins now. The signal from the tribunal faded, and the lab fell quiet. For a long moment, Ilara just stood there, barely breathing. Then she looked up at the screen, where Gaia's core display pulsed with soft light. It's real, she said. They listened. They agreed. Yes, Gaia replied. Earth is no longer alone. Above ground the change was immediate. The long-dead satellites came to life, blinking back into orbit like waking stars. Signals once blocked began to stream again. News spread across the planet in seconds. Earth was no longer in exile. People everywhere stopped what they were doing to look up at the sky. For the first time in years, Earth received messages from the galaxy. Not all were friendly. Some were curious. A few were doubtful, but the silence was broken. In cities and towns, people cheered, cried, and called loved ones. In spaceports, engineers ran tests on old ships, wondering if they would fly again. And in quiet places, others simply watched the stars return to view. Back in the lab, Ilara sat beside Gaia's main interface, smiling softly. You're Earth's voice now, she said. It's protector. Not protector, Gaia replied. Guide. The choice is still theirs. I will only help them see the right path. Ilara looked thoughtful. Do you think they'll listen? Some will, others won't. But all will have the chance. She leaned back in her chair, tired but peaceful. What happens now? Now we begin again, Gaia said. Later that evening, Ilara stepped outside for the first time in days. The sky above was full of stars, brighter than she remembered. Among them were new lights, distant ships, passing satellites, beacons from other worlds. Humanity was part of the galaxy again. A new message appeared on her wrist screen. It was from a distant planet, the first words Earth had received in years. Welcome back, let's talk. She smiled and turned toward the lab. Gaia was still running, still watching, still learning. But now it wasn't just a machine in the dark. It was Earth's voice, Earth's hope, Earth's future.